I have come this evening. The vision partners have invited us all so that I will address this section. But ladies and gentlemen, it is an opportunity for me to address this session, not because many of you have not seen the things I've been writing, or you have not heard me on any of the electronics media. But the situation in this country calls for us to come together. The people in politics, the politicians, they are not up to 1% of this country. But every other, about 90 to 99% of other Nigerians, they are complaining about this less than 1%. So why can't we increase the number of those complaining to go and participate in what you are complaining about? Somebody asked me one day, he told me, politics is dirty. And I told him that when your clothes is dirty, or whatever is dirty, what do? You wash it. So the aspect of it, that part of it that is dirty, what do? You apply more soap. So if politics is dirty, what are we doing to clean it up? But the truth is, politics is not dirty. You only have dirty people in politics. Politics, because it's democracy, is a game of number. As long as you have more dirty people in it than clean, it will remain dirty. But if we can inject more people into our politics in Nigeria, more people that will think of prosperity before prosperity, then we will have a better polity and we will have a better country. So many people have told me, how are you surviving? How are you doing this? It is by the grace of God. There is nothing to boast about. But the truth is, when we have more people like you in the system, it will encourage people like us that want to do the right thing to remain focused. Nigeria of today calls for urgent attention. As a politician, Honorable Ayola, Imam, the two imams, they can bear me another politicians there. You think Nigeria is in a pathetic state, but you don't know how pathetic it is. Those of us that are politicians, we have an idea and we know how very pathetic this country is. If things continue like this, in the next 4 years, there might not even be the entity called Nigeria. Because very soon, our oil exploration is going to be useless. Because the whole world is thinking of alternative energy. There are inventions of cars that will not use fuel. So what will our source of revenue be in this country? Outside this country, you have a lot of Nigerians that are doing very well. You have professors, you have doctors, you have inventors. But Nigeria has not been conducive for them to come. Just last year, somebody that came from the US died on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in the traffic hold-up. He was there in the traffic congestion. He was an asthmatic patient. And he died there. Do you think his children will want to come to this country again? And there are many like that. Have different sad stories to tell. Why? Because we have not made the system to work. Many of you on this side of the table, you point at politicians as the problem. No. The problem is Nigerians. Because these politicians, they are from among us. They are not Ghanaians. They are not from UK. They are Nigerians. So politicians are just typical Nigerians. Everybody wants to go there to go and shop their own. And as long as it's like that, there can never be progress. When the present president got there, I was just laughing. Those that were following him on the Facebook, you know. And I will say that this man doesn't know the problem Nigeria is facing. He just wants to get to office. I know some of you have repented. But the truth is, and I will give you a scenario. You pardon me because I lied then. But it showed the picture very clearly. Sometimes in 2002, we were going to have a meeting in a primary school, St. Patrick, and some small children were playing football. I looked at them that while we were waiting for the meeting, let's join them to play ball. So we played ball. I was expecting my football partner to be here. He's not yet here. Honorable Fatai Adetunji, former chairman of Ibadan Northwest Local Government. So we decided to play ball with these children. After playing ball for about 20 minutes, we were tired, so I asked one of them to go and buy pure water. I gave him 50 naira to go and buy pure water so that we would drink. Guess what? The boy should be around 8 or 9 years. The guy ran away with my 50 naira. After waiting for about 10 minutes, Omota Nicolora pure water wada. He was nowhere to be found. I called others playing ball. Please, I sent a boy. They said they don't know him. I called another one. I said they don't. The boy who were playing ball together, they said they don't know him. I now told Honorable Fatai, I said, I will do something now. He said, what's that? You will see how bad this country is. He said, what are you going to do? I said, just wait. I now called one of them. I told him, I said, do you know that the boy that I sent to go and buy pure water for us, I asked him to buy 20 naira pure water for us. And the remaining money to buy biscuit for you people. Abushi Erini, no more. I know his house. And that was the end of the football game. And they all went. And that brings me to the point that in Nigeria, nobody is interested in fighting corruption as long as they are getting their own share of it. Even at that age, they were not interested that the guy ran away with my money. But when they heard that their own portion went with it, and that was the end of the ball. And since then, I'll tell people that you don't know how bad this country is. Because if boys in 10, 12, 8 years already have that kind of mindset, you can imagine what the future will be. I beg people to come to political meetings. I beg them that, look, when I'm talking and I see people like you seated, I'll be more emboldened to stand by the truth. A friend once told me that when 10 people entered the bush when I was in the university, and 9 of them are biting trees, one bugije, and one of them refused to bite tree. He said, he's the one that refused to bite tree, that bites the tree, that is mad. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. That when the majority are actually mad, and there's only one person that is sane, do you know that even the majority will still carry the vote? That's the bad thing about democracy. Democracy is not a game of the same by the same for the same. No. It just says that democracy is government of the people by the people for the people. So it does not really matter their sanity level. It does not matter. That's why somebody will sing Ajekun Yanioje and will still be popular. That's why somebody will go and steal $98 million, put it in a warehouse. And when he's being tried, people in that same community where there is $98 million will be demonstrating that they should leave their son alone. That's the kind of country we have. So what's the future for our children? What's the future for our next generation? If we all fold our hands, then the solution is never going to be reached. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to quickly talk about why politics is expensive. We put 25 million naira deliberately because we did not want to scare people away. The first person I told, my uncle in the US, he promised to assist me. But when I said, I will need like 50 million, since then he has not picked my call again. I said, please don't let us scare people away. Let's just reduce the price. Even if we get that one, we will still achieve something. But politics is expensive, and it will continue to be expensive as long as poverty remains in the land. Just this morning, I was explaining to someone why the Ekiti election was so bad, monetary-wise. Because the rate of poverty in 2015 is not the same now. Money has always been part of our election in Nigeria, but it has never been this worse. Because the poverty level has gone to an unimaginable level. If organizer that will abandon his work on Saturday because he wants to come and vote, remember, he lives on daily wages. So that day, he will take money from anybody, particularly because he has never seen anything positive from anybody that has been going to office. So you offer him money, he will collect it. Because he will tell you that, I don't know when I will see them. Those are the things that are making it so expensive. That is election. Then the main process. You have a lot of people that have devoted their life, and that's all they do, 100% politicking. They have access. They are like gatekeepers. They have access to the grassroots. That is why on the day of election, a lot of people will go out that I'm going to vote for Mr. Yinka. Between their house and the polling units, that's where the politicians come in. Some of them, they have put something on their lips. Afoshe, petu petu, different jazz. Don't vote here. Go and vote here. They have collected money, and they will do it. The chairman was saying that I need prayers. Yes, I need prayers. I went through politics at the grassroots, and I know that a night before the election, there are a lot of rituals, divinations, sorcery, to manipulate people's decision. I know, because I went through a lot of process that exposed me to it. I did not participate, but I know very well. A lot of things happen. I say, Nigeria, you don't know. No, they have controlled it in the spiritual. They do a lot of manipulations. The political godfathers want to remain relevant. They will go to any extent to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, those of us that are disciplined, those of us that have burden for a better Nigeria, please don't stay away. I have a few people that told me today that they don't want to come to a political meeting. But here we have members of other political parties, not just PDP. I've seen in this crowd Mr. Chris Ayon. Yes, Mr. Chris. He's from Young Democratic Party. He promised me that he will come, and he said, please, just wait for recognition. We have members of SDP, Social Democratic Party, even the Green Party too. So it's not just about PDP, but it's about people of like minds coming together to get a solution to our country. I have come out to contest. I've lost this election before. It was because of money. I was going to win that election, but by 12 noon, INEC called for a re-election because CPC was not on the ballot paper. And as soon as it was announced, I have witnesses here, more than 70% of the people on the queue to vote left the line that if Ojasope party is not there, then they are not voting. They called for re-election 2 weeks' time. I've exhausted my money. Because 12 noon on the day of election is as good as you have had the election. So calling for it 2 weeks' time, there was no how. So that is what we face. So in this 2019, I have looked strategically at this same local government. I reviewed the past. I have gained experience. I have networked better. And I have a better understanding of my constituency. To the extent that I thank God that I did not win that election then. Because I have a better understanding of Nigeria's problem. When I talk to people now, I talk not because from the point of success. I talk from the perspective of somebody that has really felt the pain. I look at people at the National Assembly talking. I wonder what they are doing there. I was discussing with my beloved Honorable Ayola one day. It was a chat. And we're talking about this, one of these senators. I said, I don't want him to win so that people will not think that that is how to do it. A lot of youths, they will follow anybody that is producing results. They don't care where you get the money from. But in 2019, we still have about 6 months to the election. We must do something differently if we want a better Nigeria. We must go out, register, come out and vote. People tell me, EBT local government, why can't you devote a whole day to it? Those that are not dying on the highway, they are dying because of poor medical facilities. Some are dying in the hands of armed robbers, lack of security. A lot of people are being kidnapped on Lokoja Abuja Expressway. There are a lot of ambush on the highway that you don't even get to hear them on the news. What are you talking about? That you are alive today in Nigeria is by the mercies of God. You provide your own electricity, whether I tap up my neighbor or not. You provide your own water. If your road networks in your neighborhood are bad, you'll have to arrange to fill them yourself. Even if you claim that you are in the GRA, like some of my friends that claim they are in the GRA, and I will tell them that no, this is not GRA. But that's the Nigeria we live in. You pay for neighborhood security. So what is government doing? Particularly for us that our children are even in public school. You now wonder that then what is the role of government? Ladies and gentlemen, for Ibadan Northwest, Southwest Federal Constituency, I have mapped out the whole area. If you go to Alalubosa, that's the most, likely the most expensive neighborhood in the whole of Ibadan. But the road network is pathetic. If you go to Elebu area, they call it Oluyole extension. I'll tell my friends that you are deceiving yourself. Is this place GRA? Those days they say GRA is government reservation area. What is reserved about this place? If you go to Akpata, they are suffering terribly from lack of water supply. Like any other place. If you go to the interior of Ibadan, Abebi, there are not even public toilets. Majority of the houses there don't even have toilets. They don't have water. What are you talking about? People from this area, they are still part of us. We must do something about it. If our education remains the way it is, where government is not doing the best to educate the poor, then the children of the rich will not be able to live in the same system. Because when you have jobless youths, then they will endanger the children of the rich that went to Harvard. And that's what is happening presently. We must all come together. We must do something. Like I said, it's not that I'm perfect. I'm just offering myself because all of us cannot go and contest. I want to represent you. And I believe as a representative, you must know everywhere in your constituency. You must be able to connect with what they are suffering from. And you must be able to provide solutions. For health, member House of Representatives will not go and build hospital. No. My intention is that I will provide ambulances. Because I noticed that in the cases of emergency, there are no emergency response. It's zero. You bear me witness. When an Okada accident happens, what happened? People just pass by. And those that will stay, they will stay there with the victim. And they will be arguing. Rather than rush the victim to the hospital. I have seen several cases. So our emergency response, medical emergency response, is zero. I plan to provide ambulances, and the status of the federal honorable can make all the police and the security bottleneck that surrounds emergency cases to be taken care of. Because even the Samaritans are afraid. Education. If any member of House of Representatives is telling you that I will build a public school, is lying. The most you can do is to renovate a few classroom blocks. But I noticed and I researched and I found out that all schools have parents-teacher association. And in public schools, they make contributions. You can bear me witness. They make contributions. You hear that there are some staff, there are some teachers that are on PTA salary because government cannot afford to employ maybe maths teacher. So the Parents Teacher Association will employ a maths teacher and be giving the maths teacher 15,000 naira. Those are the ways the federal honorables can come in. You can employ, you can augment, you can subsidize what they are doing. Talking about form, somebody sent me a message that I cannot even afford to pay 6,000 naira common entrance for my children. Those are the little things we can do to ease the burden. WAEC forms, tutorials, particularly for those in public schools. I call it HEAP Plus. HEAPS Plus. Because my leader, Engineer Seyi Makinde, that is his cardinal project for his aspiration, for his governorship. And I discovered that if a member, House of Representatives, you don't have to have a very big vision to make impact. Just key into what they are doing at the federal level and the state level and make sure that the impacts are felt in your constituency. I don't need to run a separate vision. I don't need it. All I have to do, okay, what's my boss doing? Okay, this particular project at the federal level, how can they feel the impact in my constituency? This project in the state level, that's all. And if you can localize those visions to your constituency, they won't say there is no government. If the chairman can do that, if the councillor can do that, if the federal honorable can do that, if commissioners can do that, we won't be here saying that Nigeria is not moving. The plus in the HEAPS, because of our time, is engagement with the people. I have discovered that majority of our elected officers run away from the people. But how do you represent people you are running away from? How do you know what they are suffering? How do you connect with them without interaction? So it is my plan, and a major one for that matter, because in all local governments, you have community development associations recognized by law. All you have to do is to integrate community development associations with neighborhood landlord associations. Every street, every neighborhood now has landlord associations. But they can't feel the impact of government. All we have to do is to interact with them. If you interact with people, you know what they are suffering, you know what they need. And with that, you'll be able to provide solutions. Sometimes, it's not every time that the solution will be money. Sometimes it's just a phone call away because they don't have the access. As member of Federal House of Assembly, you can just call any commissioner, if he does not even know your name, that status alone, he want to listen to you. I want to talk to you on behalf of so people from so neighborhood. What can we do to help them? If for no other reason, he will look at, I might need this man too later. He will attend to that case. Relationship. There are a lot of, in my constituency, in Oyo State, for Ibadan Northwest, Southwest Federal Constituency, you have the largest number of corporate organizations. All the banks in Ibadan, Dugbe, Ring Road Assets, the industries, the companies, they are within this community. So with a responsible leader, you can connect them for corporate social responsibility. But even corporate organizations will not just release their money unless they know that this person is really serious and is performing. If you are performing and they know you are performing, they want to connect with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I will print this out. I will itemize these points in English and in Yoruba. And in the next few weeks, it will be distributed generously, because we know it's not everybody that has flyer that will read them. But at least, if out of 100 flyers we send out, we get 35 to 40 to be read, they will know that we are not just contesting. And I'm not just asking you to support me just because you know me. No. I want you to support me because you know that I have something to offer. And I'm not going to rest until I have the opportunity to offer it. I want to make a difference. In rounding up, I will just say this. Before I met my leader and my mentor, Dr. Onolapo Sholeye, I used to brag and say that I want to go and change Nigeria. Then when I sat with him in year 2010, so I was trying to convince him as a former minister how much I want to change Nigeria, tell him my plan for this. He listened to me because I went to him that I want him to be my mentor. He now said, you want to change Nigeria. You exhaust yourself trying to change Nigeria, and you will not change anything. That rather than focus on changing Nigeria, why don't you just focus on making a difference? I never had it like that before. So whenever you are given a task, do it conscientiously and make a difference. Wherever you are asked to serve, just make sure that everybody will know that you are doing it in a different way and you are producing results. He said, that's enough. Before you do that for a long time, you begin to change people, even though that's not your focus. Your focus is just to make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, since he gave that to me, I stuck with it. And that's why, that's the slogan. That's the quotation. That's what we put on every leaflet. That's what we try to pass across to people. That this young man, in collaboration with anybody that will be willing to support, will just want to make a difference. That you have been having members, House of Representatives. This one will be different. Different in terms of service. Leadership is service. Leadership is service. There is no two-way to it. And this is the scenario. And I'm going to round up with that because there is room for questions. This is it. If you're going on the street and you see a shoemaker, cobbler, that wants to polish your shoe, that's the kind of service that you're supposed to pay for. And the man now tell you that, Mr. Ayoro Shafe, I want to polish your shoe. And say, please just bring it. And before you release your shoes to him, He wants to take it out of your leg. How will you react? You will resist it. So whoever is claiming that he wants to serve you, and don't see, then there is something wrong there. People say that I'm not desperate. I said, why should I be desperate because I want to serve you? I don't see why I should be desperate because I say service. That's one. Another scenario is that if your shoemaker wants to give you money instead of you to pay him after the service,